All right. Next question. All right. There was a friend of mine that was older than me, and he was always looking for the right girl. And the right girl to settle down with and to marry and have kids and all that stuff. And it never seemed to happen. And the reason it never seemed to happen is because he was always looking for perfection. Always looking for perfection. And I told him that, perfection doesn't exist. And I also had another buddy of mine that we were like surfing, and he was always looking for like the next good time. He was looking for happiness, right? And one time we're surfing, and I go, bro, you keep looking around for happiness. This is it. This is it, man. We're surfing. This is happiness right now. Do you ever feel like you're searching too much and looking for something instead of enjoying what you have?
10 years ago, I would have said yes. Right now, I feel like I've found a few things, meaning realizations, and I view my job as testing things on the fringe and reporting back. It's like half, like ethnobotanist might be eaten by cannibals, plus a little bit of athletic stupidity. And really trying to find the things at the extreme so I can inform the mean. And as an experimentalist or an experimenter, I view that as my responsibility, my job. And I've also replaced a number of words in my life. So we used happiness because it's just the easiest reference point for a lot of folks. I think that the better word is excitement. So I chase what excites me. Now, that's a razor's edge you got to be careful with. But when I say excite, it means I wake up excited and I go to bed exhausted, basically, is what that means. And I've also realized that there are things to optimize and there are things to savor. And I don't have a lot of trouble with that. Most people would think that I'm just like speed reading poetry and watching every movie on like 28x forward with subtitles just to cram in as much Mr. Robot as I can or whatever. And no, I feel like I am increasingly better at the appreciation portion of the equation. The achievement I've always been, I wouldn't say hardwired for, but very well trained for. I'm good at putting goals in the sights and achieving those goals. But if you're constantly looking for the next thing, whether it's the next goal or it's the next girl or it's the next high, then you are never going to be operating in the present tense.
Was there something that you said 10 years ago, if I would ask you this, you would have probably been on your heels a little bit? Is there something that happened where you said, you know what did I just, did you get home from a trip one time and say, what did I just do? Or was there
No, I can tell you. I can tell you. It was... So this is related to something that, Robert Rodriguez, who's the director, producer, writer, musician, everything. He's a fascinating guy. Also huge. I didn't realize how big he was. So Sin City, go down the list, right? He has a lot of hits. And he said, I always find it funny, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he's one of the longer chapters in the book. He said, I always find it funny when filmmakers come up to me, brand new filmmakers, and they say, nothing went the way it was supposed to go. Like this happened and that happened and shit broke and then we missed this shot and da-da-da. And he said they don't realize that that's their job, that nothing is going to work. Like if you're the director, your job is nothing's going to work. So at one point, I was feeling maybe existentially scattered. I was like, well, I'm trying all these different things and doing all these different experiments. And when am I going to figure out my thing? And then at some point, someone just said, no, your thing is going meta. Like your thing is doing these types of experiments. And what I realized is my one thing is learning things quickly. And whether that is cooking or sniping, I've taken some sniping courses. That's a separate story. Rally car racing, whatever, right? Tango, doesn't matter. that the approach to deconstructing these things and learning them quickly compounds. So if I get better at one, I get better at the next. It doesn't matter what the subject area is. So that's my one thing. And it just gave me great peace of mind. You don't need one thing in a traditionally defined sense. Maybe your thing is, as I have found, being a human guinea pig and trying to train people to be better learners is my one thing. And that made me feel more confident in this sort of experimental approach. I don't have 10-year plans, and that used to bother me a lot. I am no longer remotely bothered by that because I have 2-week experiments and I have 6-month projects. And if I do we actually talked about this, and you've written about it, but rather than worrying about the next 17 promotions, you just do what's in front of you. In my case, say a book project. If I do an exceptional job, I knock it out of the park with this one thing, opportunities will present themselves that I couldn't have conceived of 6 months ago. And then it's just a matter of paddling for the wave.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm a lot better at appreciation than I was along, say, 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, it didn't matter how well I did, what I won, what I accomplished. I was always obsessing on the next thing. Yeah. I never took the time to actually enjoy it.
Good lesson.